Hello, welcome and namaste. This is Moksha Mukti Apollo giving live talks spontaneously arising in his consciousness. And today's topic is let's explore the source of the happiness together. And Moksha Mukti is here to point you to the source of the happiness. Feel free to type your comments, questions, concerns, so Moksha Mukti can point you to the source of the happiness. What is your source of the happiness? Many people reported to Moksha Mukti the source of the happiness is the money. The source of the happiness is the career, a job, a contract, a project, or the family, or hobby, or friends or family and things like that. Those are only conditional happiness. Those source only bring you conditional happiness, because everything Moksha Mukti just mentioned, they are stemming from, or they stem from the thought. So the thought level, the happiness is conditional happiness. One thought can make you happy and the next thought can make you unhappy. Even money can make you unhappy, because money can make you happy and unhappy, because money needs to be protected. And when money needs to be protected, what will happen? Then the unhappiness arises. You can lose sleep over it. So anyway, go and type your comment, question, concerns. So Moksha Mukti can point you to the source of the happiness. Any questions, comment, concerns? Type your comments, questions, concerns. We are exploring the source of the happiness within. Happiness is not outward. The source of the happiness is already within you. Once you recognize the source of the happiness, once you recognize that, you experience so-called peace of mind, happiness, and all that. But in the reality, you are neither happy nor sad, because both the sadness and the happiness is stemming from the one source that is already within you, right now in this present moment. So type your questions, comment, concerns, so Moksha Mukti can point you to the source of your happiness. Hello, welcome, namaste. Those who just joined, this is Moksha Mukti Apollo, giving talks spontaneously arising in his consciousness. And today we are exploring the source of the happiness within. Where is your happiness stemming from? We are exploring to go to the source, and Moksha Mukti is here to point you to the source. So type your questions, comment, concerns on your comment section, so Moksha Mukti can see what you are experiencing, what you are feeling. More of here, what we're doing today is experiencing the source of the happiness together, and Moksha Mukti can point you to the source. This is not understanding, this is not getting it, this is not, Moksha Mukti is not giving you information, but experiencing together, experiencing the source of the happiness now in this present moment, not in the past, not in the future, but in the present moment, now. And you have that source within you now in this moment, you see. And who just joined here? John. Hey, John, how are you? And he writes, my heart. Yeah, it's seems like it's arising from your heart, but it's even in the heart, that source. Certainly, the source of the happiness is not stemming from the mind. It's within your heart. But see, Moksha Mukti is not just pointing you, it's a heart. Go within and see the source. Experience the source. Experience the source now and tell me what the experience is like. Because both happiness and the sadness are stemming from the same source. Do you experiencing that? Are you experiencing the source of the happiness and the sadness stemming from the same source? Do you recognize the source? It requires attention. If you just say heart and well, it's heart, then again you are coming back to third level. But it requires some of your attention. It requires attention to see the source, because it requires attention, giving attention. And when you just give attention to the thought, even thoughts say, well, it's heart, because that is memorized now. That's a memorization. You're recalling from the past in your memory. Well, you just say thought. But you are not thinking. You are experiencing things, and that requires attention. You're giving attention to the heart area, not to the thought so much. So when you go deeper, you're giving attention, then there's a possibility for you to recognize the source. I'm not saying you're going to recognize it. I'm not saying everybody's going to recognize it. Those of you coming to participate today, I'm not saying all of you will recognize it. At least you'll make an effort to recognize it now in this present moment, ever perpetuating present moment. You can recognize that now when you put your effort, attention to it. Because there is a possibility of recognition when you put your attention to it. And experiencing that now. Not so much by thinking. If you go on thinking, you just go in a cycle. You see? You'll not take anywhere. You just go merry-go-round. But you have to break free from that attention and put your attention to the source. And that requires tremendous effort on your part. And we have John here. He writes, you got to try and live in the now to be full, happy. Therefore, when you do these, is so stress or anxiety, but it takes practice. John, you're again defining, using thought. Moksha Mukti has already said, by thinking, you will not get here. You're again thinking. See? When you say trying, you're thinking. Because Moksha Mukti just said, by thinking, you will not get here in the present. You have to experience that now. Now, in this moment. You see? You're saying you have to be present. Be present. Just don't say be present. Be present and experience that and tell me the source. What do you see? If you are in the present, you don't say yourself, well, I have to be in the present moment. That means you are not in the present. If you say you have to be in the present moment, you're not in the present. It takes practice. We are practicing now. Don't say it takes practice. We are practicing. This is the moment. Utilize it. Even 30 seconds, 1 minute, 2 minutes. Utilize it now and explore. Don't say I practice. This is the forum for you to experience it. For you to practice now. If you say practice, that's in the future. That's not in the present. And when you say try to live now, that means that's also in the future. Try to live now means you're not now. When you're in now, you're now. You don't need to say all those things. And when you experience this, you'll notice all the thought arise in your mind. All sorts of thought arise in the mind, because that is the nature of the thought, nature of the mind to produce thoughts. Because you are thought-producing machine, and thoughts will arise in your consciousness, and they appear and disappear, appear and disappear. And by just thinking, you will not be in the present. By thinking, you will not recognize the source. Because the source, pseudo-source, Moksha Mukti called illusory source, is already in the mind. Because one thought can make you happy, and the next thought can make you unhappy. And the one thought can make you happy, gives you the sensation of happiness, well, I'm happy. And the next thought arises, well, I'm not happy. It gives you different sensation, I'm not happy. Happy, not happy, so you're going in a circle by just doing thinking. The experiencing is being in the present moment. Now. Because the present is ever perpetuating. Now. 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 Any questions, comments, concern? Type it up so I can point you to the source. Point you to see the source, to recognize the source now in this present moment. Not in the future. Future is just anticipation. And you're using small memory, small part of the brain for the future. And you're missing everything in the present. Now. Those of you who just joined, this is Moksha Mukti Apollo giving you spontaneous talks now to explore the source of the happiness. So he's pointing you to see the source of the happiness. What is your source? What is your experience? Any questions, comments, concerns? Type it up so Moksha Mukti can see and point you to the source. And we're doing this together. Moksha Mukti is not saying anything. He is pointing you to the source and working with you together, directly, to go to the source now in this present moment. See. And in a way, this is a meditation, natural meditation that is happening on its own. You don't need to tell yourself, well, you have to do meditation. No, you are meditating now. This is Moksha Mukti is meditating now, naturally. Even while he is speaking, there is a meditation. And the meditation is there is an observer within you. That observer is observing everything. And John writes, my friend, I am in Spain just now on holiday and just going for dinner. So he speaks in, well, enjoy your dinner. Enjoy your holiday. Be in the present, enjoy it. You see, being in the present moment, there is enjoyment. See, everything you do in the present moment. And even there, even while you're eating dinner, while you're spending time with the family, you still have possibility of recognizing the source. Possibility of naturally meditating. Possibility enjoying more because you are in the present. See, enjoy more in the present moment. So, have a nice dinner, have a nice time. You're welcome. Those of you who just joined, this is Moksha Mukti giving live talks, exploring the source of the happiness. He's pointing you to see the source of the happiness. Where is your happiness stemming from? Type your comment, questions, concerns, so Moksha Mukti can point you to the source of the happiness. now in this present moment. Any questions, comments, concerns? And when you go to the source, when you put your effort to recognize the source, what will happen? It just opens you up to the endless possibility, infinity possibilities. It just opens up. Because thought is what? It is limited. It limits you. Because that is the nature of the thought, to be limited. But the source is unlimited. The source is endless. The source is infinity. And the mind comes in and try to understand that. It will never understand that. Because the mind is limited. And the source is unlimited. In there's a possibility of infinity possibility. There is a possibility to create miracle in your life in the source. From the thought, you can do prayer. People do prayer from the thought. But the thought is in illusion. Because thought is functioning in the limited structure defined by the culture, defined by the society, defined by the comprehensive collective knowledge we have collected since the beginning of the time human existed on the planet. We have collected comprehensive knowledge, and through that knowledge, still tremendous knowledge, yet still limited. You will not know the source. You will not know what it is. See, you will not know that because it has limitation. But the source is unlimited possibilities. Anyway, comment, question, concerns. Moksha Mukti is here to point you to the source of the happiness. Now, in this ever-perpetuating present moment. You see. Where is your source of happiness? Where are you stemming from? Experiencing that now, in this present moment. Not in the past. In the past, if you recall, you're recalling from small space in the past. You see. It's only small space in the past. That's in the memory. You see, and you missed everything. Now, if you stay in the past, or if you stay in the future, that's a still small part of the brain. You're anticipating of the future, and that can cause you anxiety, because you're not in the present moment. And when you in the present moment now, experience this now, what will happen? There's a possibility of recognizing the source within you now. And in there's a possibility to experience infinity possibilities. Experience the miracle. Bring the miracle in your life. Because there is a possibility. You just open the possibilities and infinite possibilities now to experience. So that's what we're experiencing now in this present moment. So type your comments, concerns, and questions on the comment section so Moksha Mukti can see. And he's here to point you to the source. He's here to point you and experience this together. Moksha Mukti is not telling you anything. He's here pointing you to see the source, pointing you for you to recognize the source now in this present moment. No comments, no questions. Everyone is happy. Everyone see the source of their happiness now. And the meditation is happening on its own. There is no effort needed to meditate. There is no method needed. There is no information needed. Everything is happening naturally now. The breathing in and out is taking place now, naturally, without any effort. And there is infinity possibilities. The connectedness, to connect with you, to connect with the world, because we are all one, you see, in the source. There is no separateness. The separateness is perceived by the mind. Any questions, comments? Or you're all just happy, or happy to be here? And all the sensation, they appear and disappear in your body that you experience. All the sensation. And sensation in the body is telling you this, that, and the other. The sensation arises and your mind interprets. And it's all depend on the culture you are conditioned. One culture says this sensation is good sensation, and the other culture says this sensation is bad sensation. So all the sensation arises in the body, your mind is interpreting according to your condition. And constantly there is a sensation in the body stimulated by the stimuli that are in the environment, tangible or intangible. You see, tangible stimuli you can see, you can hear, you can taste, you can feel, you can smell. Those are tangible stimuli appearing as a data, and you receive all those data from your five senses through perception. And the intangible stimuli, cannot be perceived. However, they do affect you. They do give you stimuli to stimulate you, to motivate you, you see. And for example, the intangible stimuli are the forces of the gravity of the planets, galaxies, Milky Ways, galaxies, suns, different planets, distant planets. There are vibrations that are influencing you, stimulating you intangibly, and you're experiencing different experiences. And 1 minute you're happy, next minute you're sad, are stimulated by the stimuli, whether from outside or inside. See, internal stimuli are coming from your own thought, because the thought is happening on its own constantly. Thought is coming and going, appearing and disappearing in your consciousness. Well, I'm talking. No questions, comment, concern today, folks? Hello, welcome, namaste, those of you just joined. This is Moksha Mukti. We are exploring the source of the happiness now in this present moment. So Moksha Mukti is here to point you. So type your comments, questions, concerns, so Moksha Mukti can point you to the source of your happiness. Where is your happiness stemming from? And all the experiences, they appear and disappear. Appear and disappear is the dance of quantum, because the universe is dancing. The whole universe is dancing, and you're part of the universe, just like the wave is dancing in the ocean. And a wave is not separate from the ocean. Wave is the ocean. So humans, we are all made out of the quantum. We are the universe. And we're just the ripple, tides, hurricane appearing and disappearing in the universe. And all those appearing and disappearing in the universe is perceived by the mind or interpreted by the mind. Any questions, comments, concerns? What is your source of happiness? What are you experiencing now? Are you happy? Are you sad? Are you anxious? Are you exhausted, tired? What are you experiencing now? Comment it. Type it up. Write your questions, comments, concern, and Moksha Mukti can point you to the source of the happiness now, in this ever-perpetuating present moment. I mean, Moksha Mukti can talk like this all day. But if you put a comment, questions, and concerns, then this can be interactive. It's an interactive process. Otherwise, he can talk like this all day, you see, because he has recognized the source, and everything is stemming from the source. All his talks, right from the source. Infinity. What is your source of happiness? Where is the happiness stemming from? What are you experiencing now? Happy, sad, anxious, fearful, afraid? What are you experiencing now? Or seems like everyone is happy. No one commented anything. Hello, welcome, namaste. Those of you who just joined, this is Moksha Mukti Apollo, pointing you to see the source, pointing you to recognize the source of the happiness that is already within you. So only way he can see what your experience is if you type something up, if you comment something, if you write something, if you ask questions. What are you experiencing now? Seems like everyone is experiencing happiness. Are you really happy? If you're really happy, what is the source? What is your source of happiness? Where is that stemming from? Explore, recognize, share. All the experiencing, happy, happiness, sadness, fearful, anxious, depressed, exhausted, tired, all this experiencing, they all have a source, one source. And we are not thinking so much, not giving attention too much thinking while we're exploring this now, but we're giving attention to the source. Finally, we have someone here. And let's see. We have Julishna Roka. Hey, now I'm trying to see your name here. Julie. Anyway, hello, Julie. Namaste. Thanks for joining. And Julishna Roka writes, happy about visiting a different and with my children, wishing to stay, this would make me happy. Thinking about going back makes me anxious. Well, certainly that is a thought. See, instead of experiencing, you're thinking about future, which is okay to think about the future, but stay in the present moment. If you stay in the present moment, you can think about the future and you can still be in the present. But if you keep on giving more attention to the future, now you're not in the present, you are in the future, and that could cause anxiety. And it's okay to be a little anxious, this is part of the body. But if you think about too much of the evil of the past or the future, then yes, you become anxious. Yeah, I think her name is Julissa. Julissa, namaste. Thanks for joining. Thanks for sharing your experience. See, even the thought about children, you see, is stemming from the thought. But if we have few moments here, we are exploring the source of the happiness. See, we're going deeper to the source. If that makes sense, we're going deeper, go beyond the thought, or putting your attention to the source instead of so much to the thought. And certainly, thinking about family, thinking about money, thinking about career, those, gives you temporary happiness. And Moksha Mukti is saying, don't do that. He's not saying don't do it, he said, he's just pointing you to see the source of the happiness, the real source of the happiness, recognizing that. Because what you describe is stemming from the thought. Now you have a thinking about the family, you see, that certainly is coming from the thought. And being with the family, the thought about being with the family gives you a happy thought, happy feeling, and the feeling, the thought about being away from the family gives you the feeling of unhappiness. You see, those are stemming from your thought. But if you stay in the present moment and take whatever is happening in the present and accept that, then what happens? It cannot make you sad, it cannot make you anxious, it cannot make you unhappy. Right? Any other comments, questions, concerns? And certainly thinking about going back to makes you anxious, because anxious or sad or thinking about future makes you anxious, or thinking about past makes you anxious, because now whatever you have in the past you want to repeat that, and that could cause you anxious, because whatever experience you have in the past, you see, experiencing are appearing and disappearing in your consciousness, and one experiencing your mind is interpreting as a happy, and the other experiencing mind is interpreting as unhappy. Those are coming and going in your mind, you see, and those are all interpretation of the thought. And if you give attention to the thought, it's going to go round and round in a circle, happy, unhappy, happy, unhappy, happy, unhappy, or like a pendulum. 1 minute you're happy, next minute you're sad, sad, happy, sad, happy, sad, happy, and that has a duration. You know, one happiness can last certain amount of time, and the sadness can last certain amount of time. Just like, do you know how long it's going to rain? Rain happens, it rains certain amount of time, and there is no guarantee how long it's going to last. Similarly, your experience of the happiness is stemming from the sensation, and that lasts certain amount of time, and it disappears, and other experience appears, and that experience appears as a sadness or anxious. See, those are just the experiences interpreted by the mind, and you cannot get rid of a sensation of anxiety. It has to have a duration. Let the duration take course naturally, and automatically the sensation of anxious will disappear. But if you force it, well, go away, go away. If you force it, I don't want to be anxious, I don't want to be. If you force it out, the anxious will last longer, stay with you longer. You see? Because the mind is playing tricks on you. Any other questions, comments, concerns? This is Moksha Mukti, Apollo. He is giving live talks, exploring the source of the happiness within you now. And he's pointing you to see the source, pointing you to recognize the source now in this present moment. You see, the mind is dynamic. Thought is dynamic. But humans are taught to think linearly. Like past already happened, present is now, and the future is upcoming. And logic, all the sequence are linear thinking. But human mind is dynamic. But we are trapped, humans are trapped by linear thinking structure. And that trap you. And sometimes that can make you unhappy. Because what you are is an infinite being, infinite, you have infinite source, infinite possibility. You see, infinite possibility of miracle creating in your life, but the thought says otherwise. And 90% of your thoughts are negative, fascist, cruel. That's the nature of the thought. 90%. And the source of the happiness is already within you. But if you think the happiness, that is not real happiness. That is conditional happiness. Because one thought can make you happy, and the next thought can make you unhappy. You see. And you're going round and round, round and round, round and round. And you want to break free. You really want to break free. You see. You want to break free. You want to be liberated. You want to have a salvation, liberation. You see. You want to be infinite. You want to create a miracle in your life. But if you're thinking linear, you're always trapped into that. And you cannot break free. Any other questions, comment, concerns? So Moksha Mukti can point you to see the source of the happiness, to give effort, give your attention to the source to experience the happiness, to recognize the source of the happiness now, in this present moment. So go and type your questions, comments, concerns, so he can point you. Julissa, are you there? No more comments, no more questions, no more concern? What is your source of the happiness? Where is your happiness stemming from? Happiness and sadness and anxiety and depression and joy, epiphany. Experience of joy, epiphany. Everyone is seeking to be happy. Everyone is seeking to be happy. And we have a comment here. Julissa writes again, how do you keep in mind you are an infinity being in a human body? That is what Moksha Mukti is pointing you to. Keep your attention to the source. The source is not even in the body. You think it's in the body, but it's within you. You see, the source is within you, but it's not really even in the body. It's not even in the mind. But giving you attention to that, it requires your attention to that. And it itself guide you to recognize it. It itself guide you to experience that. Because if you are not putting your attention, it will make you sad. It will make you anxious. It will make you jealous. It will make you fearful. It will make you sick. Because all of those mechanisms in place to point you to accept the source, recognize the source, and the source is like a candlelight. It seems like it is powerless because your thought, mind is powerful, and it is going in a circle, it's busy. Mind is busy thinking a lot of things outward, and you see, it doesn't see the source as anything. It sees the source as nothing. It tells the source, you are nothing. Let me do the thinking. But the source is subtle. It's already there. But your human thought distracts you. But there is an attention within you. What Moksha Mukti is pointing you to put your attention to the source. Recognize the source. It requires attention. And humans are busy giving attention only to the thought. And by thinking, you will not know the source. And when you say how do you mind? That's coming from the mind. It's not how, it's the giving attention. Giving attention now in this present moment to the source. Recognize the source. Experience the source. There is already within you. It's not necessarily in the human body, you see. Some people say that's near the heart area. Some people say in the chest area. Some people say in the heart. But where is it? Give your attention to that. And that source is infinity. Infinity source. Does that make sense? And Julissa writes, yes, thank you. You're welcome, Julissa. Keep your attention to the source. Experience that now in this present moment. Even 30 seconds. You see, even 30 seconds, even 15 seconds of your attention. Creates the possibility for you to recognize that. Possibility for you to see that. Even 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 15 seconds, 20 seconds, 1 minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever it takes. It creates possibility for you to recognize the source. It creates possibility for you to see the source now in this present moment. And if you stay in the past or the future, you will not see the source. Now, if you stay in the future and past, you're in the thinking mode. By thinking, you will not see it. And in thinking mode, you'll go round and round, round and round. One solution up here, next solution up here. Next solution up here, keep on searching for a solution. Thought keeps on searching for a solution. Because the problem is created by thought itself, and it's seeking solution by thought. If the problem is created by the thought, how can thought solve it? Because majority human problem is created by their own thought. And it seems like, well, it's solving some problem, temporarily. Again, if you solve one problem, another problem arises. You see. And for the mind, one solution, well, we got a solution now. Hooray, yippee! One solution says. Then that solution has a duration and leaves. Then we'll say, well, that didn't work for me anymore. That doesn't work for me anymore. Now I have to find different solution. And this going around, around, around. And this keeps humans busy. You see, fooling you to appear as you are doing something. You see, but in the reality, it's just the illusion. Any other questions, comments, concerns? And everything, this is happening naturally. See, all this Moksha Mukti is giving live. Why did he give live talks? Why is talking? Why is speaking? Because this is the expression of the existence. He is expressing the existence, expression of the existence now. You see, this is love. Not the kind of love that you, with your family or friends or your romantic partner or your spouse, this is not that kind of love. This is the love, natural love, the love of the existence, expression. And he's connecting with the others, pointing them to see the source of the happiness. And he's not telling anything. He's just constantly pointing you. Exploring this together now, in this present moment. And the source, we are all one. There is no separateness. The separateness is created by the mind itself. And because we are granted by accident or some sort of mutation or some sort of purpose that in the course of the so-called evolution, the human mind is granted a mechanism that sees the separateness. And everything we see, the perceivedness of the thoughts, our minds, interpretation, or the perception, or this is how the mechanism is, that we're made of that. But in the source, there is no separate, there is one. We're all one, dancing, experiencing. Quantum dances we experience through the stimuli, tangible or intangible stimuli that appear and disappear in the consciousness, stimulated by the stimuli. Otherwise, there is nothing here. Yet, in that nothing, everything is there. And Moksha Mukti calls that quantum plexus. Everything arises in the quantum plexus. Every nothing becomes something. Every something becomes nothing. We're going in a circle, in a cycle. These are all dance of the universe. Universe dancing to keep its balance, for it to sustain, for it to keep going. Taking atoms, quantum here from here, taking over there. Taking quantum from here, placing over there. It's all happening. Dancing. Creating experiences. And seeing itself. It's seeing itself. And fascinated by seeing. It's seeing itself through the thought in the mirror. And fascinated by seeing. Just like child is fascinated by seeing himself in the mirror. Oh, this is what I look like, because he has never seen himself in the mirror before. Now he's seeing himself, fascinated. And we're all, the mind is seeing everything, reflection of the reality in the mirror. Everything is dancing, creating experiences. And thought is interpreting because of the conditioned by your society, imposed upon you since your childhood. Any questions, comment, concerns? You know what? This is a meditation. A meditation that is happening naturally. Arising out of nowhere in Moksha Mukti's consciousness. For him to point you to the source, point you to see the happiness. Any questions, comment, concerns? The source was always here, always is, and always will be. And that is the source. And what are you experiencing now? Are you experiencing happy, sadness, anxious, exhausted, depressed, epiphany? What are you experiencing? Everyone is experiencing something. Experience is created by the friction in the mind, sensation in the body, and experience appear and disappear in the consciousness. Now this experience is appearing as a happy, and the next experience appearing as a sadness, and the next experience appearing as anxiety, anxious, and the next experience appearing as a depressed. Next experience appear as a fearful, next experience appear as a bold, appearing and disappearing in your consciousness. finally. Julissa Roca writes, what's the best way to meditate to get to know and hear the source? Moksha Mukti has been pointing you to the source. Give your attention. It only requires your attention to the source. When you ask for meditation, that means you are trying to do, forcing it, forcefully. But Moksha Mukti is pointing you to do naturally, to meditate naturally now. Give attention to the source. See the thoughts appear and disappear in your mind. See what is happening in your body. Experience the sensations. See everything. Observe everything. Give attention to that. Observation. That is observing constantly. And you'll see all the thought appear and disappear in your mind. They appear and disappear. One thought appears, says this, and the other thought appears and says this, and another thought and said, don't believe in the thought. For a few minutes that you're here, don't believe in your thoughts. Just observe and give your attention to the source. Where is that stemming from? Where is that stemming from? The sensation of the happiness. Where is that stemming from? The sensation of the sadness. Where is that stemming from? Everything. They are appearing and disappearing. Everything is appearing and disappearing in your consciousness. They appear and disappear in your consciousness. Thought is just the electromagnetic field appearing in your consciousness. It's an electromagnetic field. It's energy. And you have memory in your mind, stored as information. And everything together, the mind interprets the thought. Mind interprets the experience that you experience through the stimuli that you experience, tangible or intangible. And thought is interpreting. Thought is arising, appearing and disappearing in your consciousness. Any questions, comments, concerns? So Julissa, what's going on? What you're experiencing now? Is your thought distracting you? Is your mind distracting you to recognize the source, to experience the source, to see the source now in this present moment? I didn't take the phone call while I'm live talking, speaking with the world, pointing you to experience the source of the happiness, to recognize the source of the happiness now in this present moment. Any questions, comments, concerns? Type your questions, comments, concerns so Moksha Mukti can point you, for you to See the source, experience the source, recognize the source. Julis writes, tears of joy, starting to understand the need to observe the source. Well, of course. You are starting to recognize the source. Go deeper, see the source. Stay with that. Something, I can feel something is happening. Moksha Mukti called this fruitful. Even one person hears, this becomes satsang. And one person experience what Moksha Mukti is pointing, this becomes satsang, true satsang. This becomes fruitful. And this is extraordinary experiencing, extraordinary moment creating right now in this moment. Go deeper. Keep your attention to that. Recognize that. Experience that. That is your joy. That is your happiness. That is everything. That is the source. There is an infinity possibility stemming from the source. The source itself can create miracle. But you have to accept that. And you're doing fine. Recognizing that. Now in this present moment. This is a beautiful moment. It's a beautiful moment. The tear arises of the joy because now you are seeing the source, experience the source. That is that experiencing. And it cause you tearful of a joy because now you are connecting, you are recognizing the source. You are experiencing the source. You are connecting to the source now. Now you're not thinking. You're experiencing. And in there is a possibility of infinity possibilities. There's a possibility to create miracle in your life. And there's a possibility to recognize the source. And there's a possibility for you to carry that source wherever you go. Because that source is what? It is subtle. It appears that it is nothing. It appears that it is useless. Yet, there is a profound experience that you're experiencing within. Isn't that beautiful? It's a beautiful moment. Carry that. We are exploring the source of the happiness now in this present moment. Those of you who just joined, type your questions, comments, concerns on the comment section. So Moksha Mukti can point you to see the source of the happiness now in this present moment. present? Are you experiencing happiness? What are you experiencing? Are you experiencing sadness? Are you experiencing loneliness? Or are you experiencing epiphanic, ecstatic, or depressed, anxious? What are you experiencing now? Moksha Mukti is pointing you to see the source of all that is stemming from within you, not outward. Happiness, sadness, anxiety, fearful is not really outward. It's inward, inner experience. Any comments, questions, concerns? Type it up in the comment section so Moksha Mukti can point you to see the source of the happiness, to recognize the source of the happiness now in this present moment. We are exploring the source of the happiness together. Moksha Mukti is pointing you to see the source now. Sometimes you don't even need to say anything. Even the silence, the message, so-called message, is communicated. Beautifully. Because the pointer can reveal everything in silence. By looking into your eyes, it can point you to your source of your happiness. Because that is everything within you now, in this present moment. But you're distracted by your thoughts. Even one tiny thought has the power to distract you, for you to experience the source of the happiness now. Any other questions, comments, concerns? Are you experiencing happiness? What are you experiencing? Any questions, comments, concern? Moksha Mukti is pointing you to see the source of the happiness now, in this present moment. The present is perpetuating now, now, now. What's your experience? Do you care to type it up? Care to share? How are you feeling? Feeling happy, sad, anxious, fearful, joyful, depressed, epiphany? What are you feeling? We are exploring the source of the happiness now in this present moment. Moksha Mukti is pointing you to see the source, recognizing the source now. Any questions, comments? Type it up. Your common questions can create conversation. Your common questions can stimulate. Moksha Mukti. And he can speak. Otherwise, he's meditating naturally. And people ask him, what kind of meditation is this? This is natural meditation, not required by artificial method. Any meditation method is artificial. Some people call it Kundalini, some people call it dynamic, some people call meditation Vipassana meditation, this meditation, that meditation. All of them are artificial meditation. And Moksha Mukti is meditating naturally. Breathing in and breathing out is going on his own. You don't even need to think about it. It's happening because breathing in, breathing out is happening automatically. And in this, there's some sort of relaxation, you see. And there are different sensations in the body, coming and going, appearing and disappearing. And he's giving attention to you also. He's giving attention to the source. And the source is giving attention to you. And he's pointing you to the source. Now, in this present moment. What's going on? Who's out there? What are you experiencing now? Was it worth it for you to come in here? Are you glad you came in here today? What are you experiencing? Well, what time is it now? It's 11:30. Oh, 1:30. 1:33. So I think it's time to go now, 1:33. It's time to go on, unless you have questions, comments, concerns. Maybe Moksha Mukti can stay another 5-10 minutes. If you have questions, comments, concerns, he can point you to see the source of the happiness now in this present moment. Moksha Mukti is meditating now, natural meditation. You can hear airplane passing by. You can sense the sensation around his head. You can hear the silence. Anyway, that's all Moksha Mukti is going to speak today. Thanks for joining. See you next time. Namaste.